Hello all, this is Preetthika from grade 9. We are here today to discuss the fundamental principles of financial literacy and gather some insights into personal finance management. Our aim is to create awareness on financial well-being. From the basics of managing day-to-day finances to making informed investment decisions, our conversation will provide valuable guidance for both beginners and those looking to refine their financial strategies. Here we have with us Shri.Prakash Balakrishnan, a strategic business leader with over 16 plus years of experience in banking and IT consulting. Sir had headed the Barclays Wealth and Investment Management Singapore as the Vice President and later as the Sales Head at Tech Mahindra Singapore. In 2021, he started his core banking consultation and manpower management, training and testing services at Singapore through Think Tech Solutions. As a highly skilled entrepreneur and a core banking consultant, Prakash Sir orchestrates strategic projects. Who could be a better choice for this Expert Talk series on money and me? Sir, welcome to our Expert Talk series.
Savings. This is a word that is used quite often in our community or by our family members. This is like a word of caution for those who are supposedly spending on things that are perceived as luxury. So does savings mean that we have to cut out all our entertainment expenses and live frugally?
See, before I get into the frugality part, right? We have to understand that savings as a concept is a backbone of, it's always been a backbone of our economy, of our, the culture. If you go back, if you see back in grandmother, great-grandmother days, they used to save in any place, they see a spot like in, rice bags or somewhere up, they will put a small pot and keep money. Most of the time, why they do it is they anticipate for contingencies. When I say contingency, unforeseen events in the future. Anything might happen, right? You might need urgently money. And cash is always the king when you have. So the concept of savings is, they say when you talk about money, it's always time value of money, right? What I mean by is, if I give you 1 rupee today, it's worth more than what I give you in the future. Because that 1 rupee might become 2 rupees if it grows, or it might even become 50 paisa if the value of the rupee goes down. So that's the time value of money. But with savings, what we anticipate always is the money will grow, right? And India has always been a savings economy. You think about the broader picture. So we used to usually save 30%, 30 to 35% of our income for generations, right? We used to save. We are a saving economy. Unlike other countries, like if you say the West or especially the US, they don't save a lot. They are a spending economy. They spend a lot, right? And if you see historically, savings is not being frugal. Savings is you're trying to have a life for the future and be better prepared to face those contingencies. And historically, I'll just bring down 2 events which is very, very important, right? If you see 2008, there was a financial crisis. Many of your generation might not know, but it was a very big crisis where banks, like Lehman collapsed and everybody lost jobs. A lot of things happen. And this is a frequent thing which happens every 10 years. If you look at a pattern every 10 years, something of this, which will change the paradigm shift in the economy, in the way the job creation happens, there will be a downfall. It's a shift. Many people survived those days, those 6 months or 7 months or 1 year without doing jobs because they were able to go back to their savings. If they have not saved, imagine the fate of all the families and, whether you have a job or not, you still have to live a life, right? I mean, you have to, like us, like me, I have to feed for my kids, pay for their education, I have to live a life. So it's very important. The second important thing is the recent episode of COVID. When the pandemic hit, right, India sailed it very, easily because a lot of people have savings as a piggy bank. 1 year or so, many of them, even though digitalized economy kicked in, people are working from home, all those things are fine. But majority of them survived this peacefully because of their savings. So I would personally say it's not about living frugally, it's about saving something to live peacefully. for the future. So that's how I'll put it. So don't get fretted by these words that should I cut down on my luxury? No, you're not cutting down on your luxury. You are probably limiting on what you can spend on luxury for now, so that you can splurge later on luxury. Yeah.
Thanks for explaining that so clearly, sir. From what you have shared, is this concept called money management is more about knowing how to practice budgeting? Is that right, sir?
Very simply put, yes. But the concept of money management does not just stop with budgeting. Fundamentally, it starts with understanding the concept of money. See, what we always fail to understand is we work for money, but actually money should work for us, right? Very critical. So you're working a 9 to 5 job, or you're doing a business, whatever it may be. At the end of the day, we are all running for money. But once you start making money, the important concept you should understand is how money will work for you. You go and check anybody across the world who has been successful, wealthy, right? They have never done one single thing. They will do multiple things. How are they able to do multiple things? Because they know exactly how to make money work for them. So once it starts working for you, when you are sleeping, when you're jogging, when you're reading, when you're on vacation, that's when you're becoming wealthy. So concept of money management, you should understand how money will work for you. But to make that happen, yes, absolutely, budgeting is one of the most important constituent, I would rather say. It's not the only thing, but like you said in your question, it's the most important thing, because for anything and everything you do, you need to understand how I will apportion with whatever limited resources that I have, which is money in this case, right? What do you do to budget? For example, if someone wants to go for a vacation, right? He has to plan for this year, how much should I spend on X, Y, Z things, so that I'll have some delta or extra money to save for my vacation. So the concept of budgeting is very, very important. But like I said, understanding how money works is the first step. Naturally, budgeting becomes an essential part.
Thank you, sir. Absolutely. You made me realize that good budgeting is necessary for an effective money management.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So, saving seems to be a traditional terminology.
Mm-hmm.
Today's generation calls it investment.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a difference, sir?
I don't know why this generation calls it investment. There's completely a stark difference. It's simply put, savings is the money that you earn, you are setting aside for something. You can set aside, like I said, like our grandmothers, right? You can put it in a pot or a box and keep it in the kitchen. That is also savings. Money is there with you. Or you can go and put it in a bank, right? Expecting some minimum interest. Or you can keep it in your house. As long as you're paying tax and keeping money at house, it's considered safe, right? Not an issue. So these are all savings. But when you say investments, savings is you're setting aside the money. Investment means the money that you set aside will grow, has to grow. That is when it is called an investment. So going back to the same example, the same grandmother who puts money in a pot won't grow. 100 rupees will remain 100 rupees for how many ever years. And you understand the concept of inflation, right? Every year, 100 rupees doesn't look the same. We are not able to buy the same things anymore at the same price, right? So for example, if you are able to buy a bag today at 100 rupees, next year your bag costs probably 110 rupees. That's how the inflation, the cost of things goes up. So your 100 rupees keeping in the pot is not going to become 110 to make you buy that bag, which means you have to take another 10 rupees from your savings and spend. That is savings. But investments is when the money grows. There are multiple ways how you can make your money grow. Like I said, the safest way is to go and put in a fixed deposit, which will give you a rate of interest, right? So that way the money will grow. You can go and put it in the stock market, you can invest in gold, you can invest in property. So all these are avenues to put your savings in order to grow the money. So to sum it up, I would say savings and investments are two completely different concepts. Savings is you keep the money, investment is when you grow the money.
Thank you, sir. You clearly distinguish savings and investment. Investing in mutual funds is still a jargon even for the wealthy, be it a businessman or a professional. Why are people hesitant to invest in mutual funds and choose to invest in a residential property?
See, a bit of a background for that, right? See, primarily why people are skeptical to invest in mutual funds, or I would give you a stat shortly, which will give you the confidence that that's not the case anymore. People are investing a lot in mutual fund. But before that, why people were not doing it? Because one, they don't understand. They don't understand the concept of how mutual fund used to work, right? And everybody thought that stock market is a demon. So people always considered stock market as a betting game, like how you do, like you're betting on horses or you're going to a casino and playing poker. It's like a win for profit. So people never understood the concept of stock markets, right? Because there was not proper education, right? Third important thing is the concept of digitization never happened. So to even invest in a mutual fund, the fundamental way that people used to buy mutual funds before, where somebody coming and talking to you like an LIC agent or an insurance agent will explain to you about mutual funds, schemes, and make you invest. One. Two, you go to a bank, they'll cross-sell products to you, saying that, sir, you are our customer, do you want to buy this mutual fund, that mutual fund? So the way of selling these mutual funds, it was a concept selling before. Because anything that you start with a concept, like for example, if I have to sell an iPhone with you, right? If Steve Jobs has not done the proper way of marketing, right? Why would iPhone become a popular brand now, right? Because it's a concept, it was a new concept. And it came in as a novel idea. And then he introduced that concept, he marketed it well. Mutual fund industry, if you look at anything on financial services industry, they don't market it well. They're very poor at marketing. Unlike your brands like phones or durable items or electronics, they market well. They create a brand. Mutual funds, they never did that way. So that's why people did not know what and how to put their money. But if you look at now, I don't think so. And to the other half of your question, so obviously they have money, they have to invest. So whatever they can see people always, there's a psychological thing, right? What you see, touch, feel and believe is what your mind will make you put your money. Like land, I can go to my land, I can see my plot. If I buy a property, I can rent it out, I can see physically, I can go there, right? Gold, I can keep it at my home or I can go and pledge it in a bank, for future savings purposes, whatever, or to get a loan. So all these make people comfortable to invest. But now, if you look at now, people are not hesitant now.
Yeah.
They are investing a lot in mutual funds. You would have seen, right? All the cricketers coming and talking about mutual funds, sahi hai. So the branding has happened in the last 5-6 years. And if you look at an interesting stat, in 2014, right, the mutual fund industry, they call AUM, assets under management, which means all of us putting the money, right?
Yeah.
That's the amount of money the mutual fund industry has. It was about 10 trillion rupees in rupees, right? 2024, it is, just make a guess how much it should be. 10 trillion to how much trillion? 20, 30,
About 50 to 40.
close, 60 trillion. So there has been a 6 times growth in the last 10 years. So common man has started investing. People like us have started investing in mutual funds. There's a concept of recurring deposit in banks, right? So when you put money every month, similarly, people have started investing in mutual funds called systematic investment plan or SIPs. And all the retail investors are the ones who are investing heavily in it. So I think this concept of mutual funds is very well understood. With digitization of the economy and financial services, people have realized that it's the better way to invest, and it is a safe, and it is also giving a good return on investment on your investments. So I would still say that people are not anymore hesitant. The concept, they've understood the concept, and the industry is growing.
Thank you, sir, for explaining it. Sir, I'm reminded of the recent stock market's crash on June 4th when the Lok Sabha election results were announced. Can you tell us the primary factors that contributed to this sudden downturn and explain how such events can impact individual investors and the broader economy?
Yeah. So simply put, right, anything that affects political situations in any country, right, there is a ray of belief, right? See, in stock market, there's fundamental rule. The stock market doesn't move based on facts. The stock market moves based on information. Always remember that. Any information. If you say COVID pandemic is starting again, what will happen to stock markets? Tank, collapse, right? Any bad news go down, any good news it comes up. So in the specific case of June 4th, because it was an elections, and naturally there was a expectation of what will happen in the new government, right? Let's not go into the political aspects of it. So someone believed, or many people believed, that okay, some party will become a majority, whatever, and then they win. So there is an anticipation. But throughout the process, when news started coming in that it might not happen, because ground reality is there were different phases. The elections happened in 7 phases, right? And it's a very important concept to understand. Forget the political part. Any event that affects the nation, we all of us as investors, if you put in your money, this is what I keep telling even to within our circle, to the investors community, and investors community are smart, right? So any event that impacts the economy, we impact you too. You are not a silo, right? You are not out of the economy. So these things, because there was an expectation and there was an event and the news started coming out that, the government might not be a majority. So people started panicking and saying that, okay, let me book my profits. So people started booking their profits. So when they book the profits, concept of demand and supply. Lot of stocks are available because I am selling more. Supply is more. Not people are buying, which means demand. Basic economics, right? Supply is more, demand is low, market will come down. That's why there was a 4,000 point, crash. But your second half of the question, how does it impact the retail investors? There's always a thumb rule, right? Whenever there is a stock market crash, just go and buy. As a retail investor, it's an opportunity for us to buy. If you go and check the graph again after June 4th, it's come up 4,000 points in 7, 8, 9, in the span of a week or so. So it's just information. So someone created a panic. So if today I tell you as a secret in the Zoom, hey, COVID is coming back, you will go and buy masks, you will take your sanitizer, right? Yeah. And then 2 days later, if the information is not true, you will become normal, right? Same concept happens in the market. So relevance of it to the economy and stuff is, yes, there will be good times and bad times. That's how stock markets cannot be flat, cannot just go up all the way. So there will be ups and downs. But the simple rule any investor will do is, when it goes down, buy. When it goes up, keep quiet. Don't sell. Right? That's how you become wealthy.
Thank you for that clear explanation. So imagine a person with a low CIBIL score, and this person encounters difficulty in securing a loan. What role does credit score play in personal finance, and what practical steps can individuals take to improve and maintain a healthy credit score?
Yeah, good one. See, concept of CIBIL score, not many people try to understand, right? Because first and foremost is someone has to rate you, right? Like how if you go and buy something, someone gives you a rating. You go on Amazon, you buy a product, you want to buy 1 star or 4 star? 4 star, right? Simple. Whether it is good or not, we first filter it by ratings, right? Same way someone has to do a credit rating. So there is a government institute which does it, which is good. So the interesting part you asked in the question is how to make yourself from a bad CIBIL score to a good CIBIL score, which is good, which is a good point, I would say. To maintain a good score, I will say start with that. To maintain a good score, you have to have a good credit history. Don't default on your loans. Like for example, if you buy a home loan, car loan, personal loan, whatever it might be, there is an EMI that you have to pay, which means every month you have to pay that money to the person from whom you have borrowed the money. Don't skip that. Don't miss those payments. Always the money has to be paid on time. Simple as that. That's the first and foremost. Credit cards. Credit cards are revolving credit. Like when I say revolving credit, you buy something on your credit card now. In 40 days, you have to make payment to the card company, right? What are the two types of payments you will do? Either you pay the full money, or there will be something called minimum payment. When I say minimum payment, you buy something for 5,000 rupees. The card company will say, you can pay me 1,000, 4,000 you can pay me later, after the credit time that I have given you, the 45 days. But in turn, what is happening is, for the time that you exceed, they will charge you interest. So you will pay more. You won't be paying 4,000 in this example. You will be paying say 4,200. Only take those interests if it is extremely required. Otherwise, pay credit cards in full. If at all there is a need for you, and then you take those credit, pay them on time. Don't keep extending them, right? Because these are things which will give you a good credit score, right? And always when you close a credit card, many people do this blunder. They are not defaulters. They would have paid all their money. But what will happen is, you might have had 10 credit cards, right? Or 5. Let's take an example. Now, I might have traveled to abroad, I might have not used some credit cards. But you know what? In credit card company, every year they charge you an annual fee, right? Now, many people will forget it. They will just think that I will go, I don't need this card. They will not close their card properly. When you don't close their card properly, this whatever annual fee they have done, right, it keeps adding every year, right, and it will show as an outstanding. Then it affects your CIBIL score. So thumb rule is, when you don't want a card, go. What many of them do, they'll cut the card through it and assume that it is closed. No, go to the bank, call the bank, return the card, say I don't want the card, close it, get a closure letter. So these are things that you should do for your good CIBIL score maintenance. Some basic things. Once it is bad, you have to repair it. Simple as that. Right? Repair takes time. So it means you'll have to have the financial prudence, financial discipline, make sure the payments are right. You continuously keep doing it for a span of time, it will definitely improve your creditworthiness.
Thanks for the practical advice.
Sure.
Audience, our discussion on the art of money management must have made you more aware of how to be financially stable and secure. Thanks for watching, and thank you, sir, for sharing your experience and insights with us today.
Thank you. Thanks.